Scammers are out there. And there was one right here in Missoula, Montana that recently scammed a lot of people for quite a bit of money. Some a little bit, some more, but the total was quite a bit of money with quite a few people. Going to talk about the scam, some things that you can do to make sure you're not scammed, and some of the interesting things that came out on the social media regarding the scam. Welcome to Coffee with Alain. Appreciate you being here. I have my Martin Luther King mug today. The time is always right to do what is right, because we're going to be talking a little bit about that today as well. So what happened here in Missoula? Now, if you're familiar with Nextdoor, it's a social media app that is more focused on your own community. And I take a look at the one here in Missoula every once in a while and see what's going on and comment now and then, but not that much. But over the last number of months, there were quite a few posts by this person, Jimmy Lober. And a lot of the posts were about either how he was helping so-and-so or doing this or doing that, good charitable type work, helping people that were down and out, and also how he could help fix just about anything that you needed handyman work done for. And there were some rave reviews about what a wonderful person he was. It even got to be almost like he was a saintly. My gosh, he was the most impressive person in the Missoula community with all the good he was doing. But then all of a sudden, his wife was sick over in Washington. He had cancer and had to go to Seattle and was getting treatments. And then he needed money to help him get back to Montana and a bunch of different things going on. And that's just a little bit of it, because I didn't pay that close of attention, because a lot of times when I saw those posts coming up, I just ignored them because I just didn't feel right about the guy. And I definitely wasn't going to give money to him. I didn't need to, wasn't somebody I was going to hire. And I feel bad for anybody that's sick and has cancer, but I can't give to every GoFundMe that comes up saying this is a great guy, give him money. So I ignored a lot of it. This weekend, a post came out, and it has, as of this morning, 297 comments, and a bunch of other posts have been started about the same thing, about how he was scamming and ripping people off. Probably wasn't even sick. So the GoFundMe was stopped. Some people are trying to get their money back through cutting off their credit card payments and, disputing the charges with credit card companies to, get their money back that way. One of the reasons why I always advise using credit cards and not debit cards. Debit cards, the money is out of your account right now, and getting it back can be very tough. If you get ripped off using a credit card, a lot of times the credit card companies will help you and you can get refunded. But yeah, he scammed a lot of people. Now, let's first talk about some things that you can do not to be scammed. Okay. Some of these handyman or contractor type scammers, some of the things to look out for. One is coming up to your house unsolicited. Now, this Jimmy, I don't think was really doing that. He was getting stuff through the social media, but a lot of scammers will come up to your house unsolicited and offer to fix something or work on something maybe that they noticed needed done. Okay, don't fall for some of that. A lot of the scammers won't sign a contract. There's a big red flag. Before anybody does work at your house and is going to do stuff for money, repair and things, you want to know that they're licensed, bonded, and have insurance. If they can't prove to you that they have those things, be wary. Okay? That's a big red flag as well. You want to actually get some previous references. If you want to make sure it's a legitimate business with actual references. Now, there were people referencing this Jimmy guy on the Nextdoor app, but nobody knows for sure if those were real people or were those fake accounts started from that Jimmy. Now, there were a couple actual people that had some work done from, reading comments this weekend, I found out. And that, is a play with a scammer too. He'll go in and maybe do a job or two, real small jobs, easy to do, get those people to rave about him. Can you put a review on? It'll really help my business, so you can get some legitimate references. So you need to be careful on there too, just depending on how the con artist is playing the scam game. Couple big red flags. It's a low ball price, lower than any other competitor out there. That can be a red flag. And they want the payment up front, often the entire payment up front. And they'll give you good excuses of why you need to pay up front. They have to go buy the materials or this or that, and they'll have some excuses and reasons. Don't do it. You don't pay full price up front for contractor handyman work. Now, some places will have you pay a down payment, but not the whole price up front. They're big red flags. So do some research before you hire and pay money to anybody that's going to be working on your house. Make sure they're a legitimate business, licensed, bonded, have insurance. You have to be careful. Now, some of the stuff that came out this weekend, people started Googling and doing some research on this guy and found criminal records and different stuff out in Washington and all sorts of negative things. But people weren't doing that research when they were hiring him. Seemed like a nice guy. He does a lot of charitable work. Oh, there's a reference for him. Yeah, I'll hire him. So he scammed a lot of people. I'm going to say hello to Kellen, and then I'm going to talk about a very interesting thing that happened, among this, and something for you to maybe think about when you're on social media and doing things. Good morning, Kellen. Kellen said, when I have some work done, I purchase the materials so they don't have to ask for a deposit. That's always an option too. You want a water heater put in, you go buy the water heater you want, and then you contract that handyman to put the water heater in. If you need things done and you can buy materials, because sometimes they'll jack the price up on the price of the materials, or for them having to go purchase them. So you can save you some money by doing that yourself. So good tip, Kellen. Thank you. So that's the scam that went on in Missoula. And there's some tips on how you can prevent yourself from being scammed. But here's a very interesting thing that went on with this whole deal. A couple people tried to say some negative things about this Jimmy because he didn't come through for him. He was putting them off, and he always had a story. I'll be there tomorrow, and then he wasn't there tomorrow because of something. I'll be there next Tuesday, and he wasn't there next Tuesday because of something. But when a couple people posted on this social media platform next door the negative things about this Jimmy, they got shamed and blasted, and just, people came down on them. How can you talk negatively about this saint? He's such a wonderful person. So a bunch of other people were afraid to post. The comments I was reading this weekend, again, I read more about this guy this weekend than I had done in all those posts previously, and that's why I learned about this. But a whole bunch of people posted this weekend that they had had negative interactions with this individual, and he had put them off, and they hadn't gotten the job done for what they paid him, but they were afraid to post it on the social media site because of how those other people were bashed when they posted something about him. I find that pretty interesting. People were afraid to post their own experiences to help others because they were afraid of the backlash they would take because the person seemed so wonderful and everybody jumped to his defense when somebody else did. Now, some of those accounts that jumped to his defense, nobody knows if they're real accounts or were they managed by that Jimmy guy and his wife. Nobody really knows. So it's just an interesting dynamic to see that play out. And now it's even more interesting because a couple of the people that posted something negative and got bashed and shamed and jumped on are now on the social media site saying, "See, I told you so. I deserve an apology." And other people are saying, "Yes, you do, but quit being snarky about it. Anybody can be scammed. Let's let this go." And they got little feuds and arguments going on about that too. One guy even said, "Jimmy's probably laughing at us arguing about this." And I just found it sort of an interesting condition of the human experience of seeing how this all interplayed. Bottom line, we need to be careful. We need to look out after ourselves. And I gave you some tips about how you can prevent people from scamming you, hopefully. We also want to help others. If we know something is wrong and not right, we want to speak up. We want to do what's right. As Martin Luther King said, the time is always right to do what is right, regardless if we're afraid that somebody's going to shame us or come down on us because we talked negatively about something that was true to us. Somebody scams you, don't be afraid to tell people because other people thought the person was wonderful, because they might have been scammed too, just like all these people here in Missoula. I'm going to say good morning to Jay. Appreciate you being here, Jay. So let's protect ourselves from scammers and let's do everything we can to help others from being scammed. Do not be afraid, like so many people here in Missoula were, of putting out there the truth to help people because you think people might get mad at you for telling the truth. If it's the truth, don't be afraid to put it out there. That's what I wanted to share this morning. I hope the beginning of your week is starting out fantastic and it only gets better as it goes on. Have a fantastic Monday, everybody. Take care, stay safe, and we will see you tomorrow.